What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Scratch Agency podcast, hosted by Scratch Agents for Scratch Agents. All Scratch Agents listening, today is the time to listen. When this guy talks, you listen. And we are super grateful to have Dr. Billy Williams join the show for us from Inspire a Nation Business Mentoring. So, Dr. Billy Williams, thank you for being with us today. We appreciate it. We're excited to have this conversation. How are you?
Well, thank you. Thank you. It's not just Inspire Nation Business Mentoring, but now it's also Inspire a Nation Insurance Agency. I started a Scratch agency with my three kids. We actually opened February 1st, but my three kids want to get into the industry. They want to get into the business. So I'm like, well, we're not going to, Daddy's not going to make this easy for you. Like, we're just going to jump into some existing agency. You're going to have to build it from the ground up. So my son has been sitting and looking at aggregators and clusters and, direct appointments. And yesterday he had a conversation about Ivans and, downloads. And so I'm really excited to be a part of it and excited to see it. And also, since it's been 12 years since I opened my own Scratch agency, it's exciting to see how the industry has changed a little bit. Still similar, but it has.
So how old are your kids, and are they coming from insurance background or not?
No. My son's graduating from University of Southern California. He's 20. My daughter's at University of Texas, Arlington. She's 19. And then my other daughter's in Nebraska, and she's 18. So these are literally babies that are starting this agency, but they're not stupid. They see where the money is.
Sure. Yeah, that's awesome. But tell us a little bit about what the plan is with this new agency. Like, what's your,
it's going to have
a
three
niche
divisions
that you're targeting?
Yeah, it's going to have three divisions. It's going to be a commercial division, of course, personal lines. And then I'm actually going to head up the Medicare Advantage and Medicare Supplement part of it because I'm 61 right now. Yeah. So I'm actually in that range of communication. So for me, it's about being able to talk to people in the language that I know, So I'm heading that up. My son is going to take over commercial, and my daughters will take over the personalized part of it.
Nice. And how are you having them start out? I'm curious what that training plan looks like. Is that going to look like the Inspire Nation
Absolutely,
platform?
It's Inspire Nation. Now, this is one of the things. This is not a promo for Inspire Nation. This is just reality. I've been doing 18, 19 years of putting this together. So when I sat down with them, and I believe in doing everything by the numbers. So for you Scratch agents. Okay, this is for all you Scratch agents out there. Don't make this stuff overly complicated. If you can put a number to it, then you can explain it. So, first number is 1. We have one job. Offer the coverage that best protects a customer's quality of life should they ever have to file a claim. Okay, that's our one job. Not to get them the cheapest price, not to find them the lowest this, not to try to make them feel warm and fuzzy, but to make sure that if they have to file a claim, their life will be best protected, right? So looking at that means each customer has 3 weaknesses. They either have no coverage, low coverage, or they're missing a supporting policy. Those are the only 3 weaknesses our customers have. No coverage, low coverage, or missing a supporting policy, right? There are 4 particular types of customers that we deal with. You have self-sale, self-service. Those are customers who want it online. They just want to do it themselves. They want to do, they don't want you to deal with it. They just give me a link, give me a portal, give me an app, and I'll handle it myself, right? Okay, cool. Right. Then you have self-sale professional service. I bought it, but now when it's screwing up, I don't know how to fix it. So I need you to fix it, right? And those are your service-based people. Then you have professional sale self-service. You sell it to me. Stephen, you explain it to me. Sean, you walk me through it. You make me understand it. And then leave me the hell alone. Give me an app. Give me a portal. Give me a link and let me go in. If I need something, let me download my own COIs. Let me download whatever, my ID cards, whatever I need, right? Then you have professional sale, professional service. I don't want to figure this out on my own. I don't want to do any of this on my own. I just want to be able to call you and have you take care of it, right? So those are our 4 types of customers. So our job in the agency is to make sure that we have a portal or an avenue for each type of customer. That way, when we're marketing, I can still market to people who want to do it themselves. We have a link. We have a portal. We have an online rater. We have quote rate bind. We have all that. But if it's a more advanced policy, a bigger CPP policy, a commercial package policy, or a Medicare supplement policy or something like that, now I also have that professional knowledge and base. So for my kids, this is perfect for them because, they're from the Instagram world and, all that. And so for them, we're putting technology in place to help with that while they're still learning all the other stuff. And I don't mean to keep talking, so I'll be quiet. But you know how I get, Sean, so I love this stuff.
No, I think it's great. And honestly, we could probably talk all day about it. I'm very curious because now, right, you worked at Allstate. For people that don't know, you started when you started in insurance. Yep. So you started captive, and then you got into the Inspire Nation business mentoring right after.
Then I went independent.
Okay.
And then I started investing in independent agencies.
Yep.
And so that's what I do. Those are the two legs. I invest in independent agencies, and then I mentor agencies. And it started out as me mentoring agencies I invested in so that I could get those guys growing so I could make more money.
Gotcha.
So,
yeah, and I just think it's interesting now you're doing this for your kids. I just think that's an awesome spin on it. And so you have them go through the training. How are they going to generate the question everybody loves? How are they going to generate new business leads? What are you thinking there?
Well, here's
You're
the
going
deal,
to do more networking, cold calls? What do you guys do?
No, we're going back to numbers. Remember, I can't explain it in numbers. It's too complicated. So let me explain it in numbers. You have 6 best prospects, 6 best insurance prospects. Those are your current customers, referrals and reviews from current customers and referral partners, people that are actively looking for insurance. They're out shopping, searching, doing Google searches, whatever. People that you've quoted but didn't sell, former customers, and people with a possible upcoming need. Just moved, just had a baby, just got married, just got divorced, whatever. Those are your 6 prospects.
Gotcha.
There are 10 ways to reach those prospects, right? And we use an acronym. We call it PETALS SRV. Okay, PETALS SRV. Phone, postal mail is the P. Email and events is the E. Text message and QR codes is the T, right? Then you have email, an email blast, whether that's a blast or responder or whatever you have there. You have leads, landing pages, and lead magnets. So I could buy leads, I could put out content that people would respond to, and that's a lead magnet, right? Or I could create some type of landing page like a quote engine or something like that, or a banner that says get a quote here. Then there's S, social media, right? Social networking. Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, all that stuff, which you guys are doing a great job on Instagram, by the way. I don't know who's running that, but you guys are doing a really good job on Instagram, okay?
Shout out to Sean.
But we have our social networking. And then on your social networking, you have 4 basic things that you can do on social networking to drive those leads. You can do content, you can do connections, you can do groups, and you can do events. Okay, gotcha. So we look at our social networking that way. Then there are referrals that we really drive into, even though we mentioned it earlier, but under our referral and referral partners, but we really go deep into the referrals. Like a referral for us, again, 4 types of referrals: direct referrals, branding referrals, networking referrals, and then resource referrals. Direct referrals is a lender sends me a lead, right? And I write the lead. Networking referral is you put me in front of a group of people and let me talk about my expertise. So we do lunch and learns, we do stuff like that where I'm in front of a group. You, in this podcast right now, are considered a networking partner because you're putting me in front of your audience. Your audience may have never heard of Billy Williams. They may never heard of Inspire Nation Business Mentoring or Inspire Nation Insurance Agency. Now they have. So you put me in front of your network. And from that, there are going to be people that are going to go to inspirenation.org and find out what the hell we're all about. Right? Shameless plug. But anyway, so then you've got Then you have your resource partners, which is, why do I want to do this by myself when I can partner? There are other businesses out here that want leads just like I want leads. The mortgage broker wants leads. The CPA wants leads. The attorney wants leads. So why can't we do something joint and you help fund these events that I'm putting on, and then we have access to the same network, right?
Gotcha.
Okay. Yep. Then you have your branding, which are people who write about you, talk about you, share stuff about you. I know on one of your podcasts, you were talking to this young lady and you were like, Billy kept telling me, go get referral partners, go get referral partners. And I was going, okay, but I had no clue what the hell he was talking about. Right.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
I mean, that's all branding. So again, you have those 4 types of referral partners: direct referrals, networking referral partners, branding referral partners, and resource referral partners. Right. So
yep.
Then we go into, you got, your video. That's what the V is for, your video. Now in there, of course, you could have door hangings and all that, but that we consider that postal mail. So for my kids, it's not a deal where they got to figure stuff out. In fact, here, let me bring this over here so you can see my board. We have this board. I don't know how much of this you can see. 5 best prospects, 10 main marketing methods, and we write them all out. And then we put each day by day, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, exactly how they're going to market the agency. So this is not a deal where they have to figure out, oh, what do we do next? I'm sitting here lost. No, they've got a daily plan of everything they're going to do.
And I was going to ask you, Billy, because there's a lot there, right? As far as prospect, it seems like there's 20 different ways to do it, right? I know you said 6.
There's 180 different ways total that we have figured out how to market.
Exactly. So my question to you is, your most profitable, productive agents, are they doing a little of everything?
Yeah, the ones that are really killing it are the ones that have it's one of 2 extremes. They've either mastered one way and they're living off that one way. Like maybe it's
that's what it seems like.
Right. They mortgage this, or they're killing that one way. My problem with that is that one way is not going to last forever. It's not. So when that dries up, what are you going to do? So for us, I want to make sure that we're touching each of the 10 main marketing methods, that there's something operating every single day. Right?
Yeah,
so that's why we have Monday.
A fantastic point.
Yeah, Monday we do this, Tuesday we do this, Wednesday we do this. And when I talk about this, I'm going to look at my board here. So I'll just take Friday. So Friday we update our .org documents, all right, and all our events. So we go out to our website, inspirenation.org, and I update all the events that are coming up for our members. For the insurance agency, we're also doing lunch and learns. We're also doing some classes out at some of the local colleges that I got set up. And we have this really unique thing. I don't mind sharing it because most people are not going to be able to do it anyway. I'm doing this thing called a golf and learn. You guys know I'm a golfer, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Everybody knows I'm a golfer. Right. And I heard, who was it the other day was saying, if you're out playing golf 4 hours a day, or playing golf 4 days a week, you're not going to make any money. I'm like, dude, you don't understand.
I know who that is. Yeah, we'll keep his name off the podcast.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm like, dude, you don't get it. You just don't get it.
We love you, Nate.
So I'm doing a golf and learn where I've got these fillable forms that people will register, right? I've got companies that are sponsoring this golf and learn. They are paying for the round of golf for these people that are registering. You have to be a business owner in order to register and get your golf paid for. You can play if you're not a business owner, but you need to be a business owner or a decision maker in a company to have your round of golf paid for. Then I've got it set up at one of our local, several of our local golf centers here. In order for you to come in, you got to bring me a deck page, right? Just like in the old captive days, when you give me a deck page, I'll give you a $10 gift card or whatever. Except for this, I'm giving you a round of golf. I'm not giving it to you because that means if I were giving you that value, I'd be breaking rules, right? I'm not giving it to you. This is sponsored by other companies. They are paying for your round of golf. But you bring your deck page in, you leave it with my team. While you're out playing your round of golf, my team is already working up your quotes. They are comparing what you have with what we want you to have. Now you finish your round of golf, you come back, you already got a package ready. Now it's a matter of us making an appointment, sit down and let me talk to you about your weaknesses. So tell dude who said you can't make money playing golf 4 days a week. You just got to be more creative about making money playing golf 4 days a week.
Yeah, I think it's just interesting. As Stephen and I have talked about this a lot recently too, is that just like what you said before, we've noticed that agencies, like you said, they maximize one form of prospecting. And the person you're talking about in particular, like they cold call like a maniac, and they do great. They do great doing it. And I feel like I do a little mix of everything. I could do more on the event side of stuff and the, the giveaways and stuff like that. But I know Stephen does a ton of networking. I would say, Stephen, tell me if I'm wrong, 99.9% of your leads are from referral partners and networking, right?
Right. Yep. No, I think that's been one of the most interesting things for me in my startup journey is how many different ways you can skin the cat when it comes to bringing in business. And to Sean's point that, that individual is in an accountability group with us and we meet regularly, and Sean just laid it out there perfectly. I have put all in on my referrals and my community involvement and my networking and different things like that. The individual we're talking about is cold calling, and Sean falls right in the middle. My question would be, what I want to talk about is, what do you think is the most common trait of folks that you work with or come to your mentoring program that are just spinning their wheels? They're struggling. What's the common trait there that you're seeing from folks that are struggling in their startup journey?
They're overwhelmed by the thought. Seriously, that's what it is. They're overwhelmed by the thought. Now, I'm going to call Sean out on this. Okay, Sean's been a member of mine for years, right? And he'll call me every now and then, and we'll talk, and we'll chat, and we'll do whatever. But I've got a whole library of stuff set up for him to be able to go in, no matter what he wanted to know about running an agency, right? Over the last 18 years, we've built this warehouse of information. Yep. But the problem is he stands there in the door, and all he sees is a warehouse, right? He doesn't see this shelf has this shelf contains that, this shelf has that. He just sees the warehouse. And that's how I think most agents are. All they see is the big picture. They haven't broken it down into simple things. So, Stephen, like when I'm working with a brand new agent, the first thing I have them do is create their email templates, right? And they're like, well, Billy, I need leads, and I need this, and I need to go out and do that. No, you need to communicate.
Best thing I ever did.
Right. If you can't communicate, then it doesn't matter how many leads you have. They're just going to fall through the cracks because you're not going to sell them any damn way because you can't communicate with them. Mm-hmm. So I have them create their email templates first. The email templates will cover all your conversational weaknesses. You don't know how to mention a policy weakness about manufacturer's liability? Put it in a template. Okay? You don't understand how water backup works? Put it in a template. Copy off somebody's damn website what it is and put it in a template. And now when your customer says, hey, how does this water backup thing work? You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to shoot you over this template so we can talk about this together. You're reading it. They're reading it. Both of you don't understand what the hell's going on, but at least you're communicating what you're supposed to be saying. So that's the first thing I would tell a scratch agent. You have to get your communication flow right first. And that starts with email templates and text message templates.
The email templates, it sounds like such an easy thing, but I would tell you that one thing alone, maybe RoboForm too. Having RoboForm as the password manager is fantastic. Yeah. So having those two things, the email templates especially, someone requests a certificate, you just click the signature, drop down template, boom, the email's out in 30 seconds, literally. Mm-hmm. It has made me so much more of an efficient insurance producer. I mean, I truly believe that I've been able to hold off hiring an account manager for so long because I had those processes and procedures in place for the email template specifically. And it sounds crazy, Billy. I think when you and I started, I might have had, correct me if I'm wrong, maybe it was like 20 that we started with, somewhere around there. Yeah. I have at least 100 minimum.
Well, because you have 100 different conversations happening in your agency, right? Yeah. But the thing is, you have 100 different conversations, but you're saying it 1,000 times. Yep. So why would you not have templates that repeat it?
Right. Yep. Anything repetitive, I turn it into a template.
And even on those forms, while we're talking about that, because I don't want agents going there going, okay, now I got to go, do this and do that and figure this out. No, the real key is your agency management system or CRM or whatever you're using, when it can pull in data that pre-fills a lot of that stuff in those templates, when it can pull in policy numbers. Like one of our big things that we have, my kids and I sat up the other night and we put this together, is we have our coverage conversation set up on all our endorsement templates, all our follow-up templates, and it says, here is our agency standard, here is your coverage, and it does not match our agency standard, and here is the possible consequence of what could happen if you don't match our agency standards. That's all in a template. So now when my kids get ready to send out something, because they're all licensed, when they get ready to send out something, they're not going to know what the hell they're talking about. But Daddy does. And Daddy put it in a template. So now they send out the template that basically says Daddy's words, and that will transfer to the communication with the customer.
Well, what software are you using for that template?
Oh, it depends. For our agency, right now we're using Hawksoft. We chose Hawksoft as our agency management system because I love Hawksoft. Again, here's the deal. Pick the AMS that works best for you.
Yep.
Right? We felt like Hawksoft works best for us.
Gotcha.
We've got Hawksoft. We've got Tarmica. We're using Canopy Connect. We've got, we're going to end up using WonderWrite for some stuff.
Yep.
Man, I'm blowing all these guys up for free. You know that, right? Of course, we're using Loss Runs Pro. We're using Insured Mind as our CRM. So, I've got the connections and they all communicate with each other and it all works well. But at the end of the day, the whole purpose for all this technology is just to be able to communicate systematically and efficiently.
Yeah. And I wanted, Stephen, hold on real quick, because I got to touch up on this.
No, guys,
pass it on.
Sean, you never make a one-on-one with me, so I have to actually have a podcast before I can actually mentor you. I have to be on a podcast with you.
Yeah, you're right. So, listen, that's one of the things I wanted to praise you on, and definitely an area that I struggled in when I first opened up the agency, and that was Billy hit the nail on the head. Is I think as agents we do overcomplicate things, and oh my God, let me tell you, I overcomplicated things in the beginning. I overthought everything. I would call Billy, what management system with the CRM, and how do I connect them all? And Billy, I remember you told me, Sean, don't overthink it, don't overcomplicate it. Plenty of massive agencies out there do not have all this fancy technology.
Yep. Some of the biggest agencies in our industry don't have all this fancy dancy technology. It's almost like the technology companies go after the little guy. They go after the startup. Yeah. They go after the unknown, right?
Yep.
And then they sell them all this magical stuff. Meanwhile, you got all these huge agencies out here that still got Sarah and Jenny doing stuff on, a PDF form, and it's working for them. So.
I know. Well, so I just wanted to praise you on that, because that helped me immensely. And it's something I do now. Like if I start looking into something, if I start looking at it for more than a certain amount of time, I'm like, just remember what Billy said. Don't overcomplicate it. Don't
overcomplicate it. Stephen, before you ask your question, let me just jump in here. Yeah. How do you know if you're overcomplicating it? Okay, here's this one thing. People say, well, I don't know when I'm overcomplicating it, right? How do you know when you're overcomplicating it? If you could do it manually without any technology whatsoever, right? You could do it. You could send an email template without having a CRM do it. You could do it manually without any technology whatsoever and still make money. Then the technology should be able to make you do it faster. That's all. The technology is not going to suddenly make you into a beauty queen if you're ugly as hell. It's not going to happen. Okay?
Yeah.
But the technology should be able to make you do it faster. And I think that's where a lot of people get confused. They think technology is going to make them better. No, technology will make your core processes faster. Some technology will build processes that you don't have, right? Which will make you a little bit better. But I always tell agents, if you can't do it manually well, then adding technology is not suddenly going to fix the problem, because the problem is lack of processes. The problem is not lack of technology.
Very true.
Okay,
well, you were essentially answering the question I was asking when you're talking about that warehouse approach of you're standing there and not knowing when to start for that scratch agent. When it comes to the technology side of things, like what are your recommendations there of like, here's the core things you need, and then like you said, I mean, you answered the next part of my question of being able to know when that next step is it doing A, B, and C, then that may be a good idea. But on a surface level, from technology for a new startup agent, what is your recommendations for that?
Get a good agency management system. Now I know a lot of agents now live on the CRM world, and that's absolutely fine. But you always have, remember, everything for me is a number. If I can't put it into a number, then it's too confusing. You have two main parallel communication highways in an agency. You have carrier to AMS. Then you have agency to customer, right? So part of the problem is agents tend to focus on the wrong thing. If your weakness is, I can't download, then you're going to have a problem communicating with your customer. Doesn't matter how fancy your CRM is, when you have to manually go into your AMS system and pull in all their policy information and pull in all their cars and pull in all their data and pull in everything, their old deck page to be able to go out. So now you're still duplicating and triplicating work. So I want an AMS that has CRM functionality, but I'm most concerned with, is it going from carrier to Ivans to AMS? That's what I'm most concerned with. Because once I have it in my AMS, I can figure out how to send a damn email out of my AMS or send a text message out of my AMS. Yeah, it's great that all these other tools out here are phenomenal. But again, if I don't have the core basic policy information, then it doesn't matter, which is why I went with InsuredMind and HawkSoft, because they communicate. So now I can use all that fanciness that InsuredMind has because I can get the data from carrier, Ivans, HawkSoft, and then work with it in InsuredMind.
Yep. Yeah, and that was something you told me early on too, is you're like, hey, Sean, any technology you're looking at, just make sure it integrates with your management system. And I remember that helped wipe out a lot of different things I was looking at too. So
because a lot of agents, they got 37 pieces of random technology that don't talk to each other, and you're telling Judy, go get this done. And Judy's like, wait till he leaves, because everybody in the agency is freaking out. And Judy's like, it's okay. Calm down. Just calm down. Wait till he leaves. He's gone? Good. Look, we ain't doing any of that crap. This is what we're doing.
Yeah. No, I will echo that because I'm on HawkSoft and InsuredMind as well. And that was a big thing for me, was especially when it's just me right now. I got to make sure these things talk so I can have the same capabilities. I think, the timing of this, I think, is really cool with having you on the Scratch Agency podcast. You're starting a Scratch Agency with your family right now. What is that makeup going to look like? Is it 100% virtual? Do you have an office space? Are you going to utilize VAs? What is that going to look like for you in these startup phases?
Yes, and yes. Yes, we're not going to be just virtual. Remember, we have 4 types of prospects. So we're going to have technology and access for all 4 types. So we may do a lunch and learn. Let's say we do a Medicare Advantage lunch and learn, right? And I want all those folks to go out and be able to let me know who showed up for the lunch and learn, because, Medicare has a lot of strict marketing guidelines to it. So we'll use technology for that. I'm going to have my commercial lunch and learn, right? Our golf and learn. Well, we're going to use certain technology for that and certain tools for that. So our agency is not going to be set up to where we're all virtual, right? Or we're all online, or we're all this, because I'm going to target all 4 types of customers. For you guys that jumped on late, that's self-sale, self-service, right? That's self-sale, self-service, right? Then that's professional sale, self-service. Then there's the professional sale, professional service. And then there's one more, and I'm not going to try to remember it right now, but I know it. But we're going to look at all 4 of those types of customers and then deal with those particular folks. So I want something for everybody. Like if I'm writing a CPP, I'm not going to be able to do that online. I don't care. I can get your information online. I can get you started online. But dude, I got to sit down and talk with you. I need payroll. I need workers' comp information. I need number of vehicles. I need drivers. I'm not going to be able to just sit here. I need how many locations you got. I'm not going to be able to just sit here and do that online. It's not going to work. If I'm writing a BOP, a small BOP for an architectural firm with 2 people, okay, I might be able to do a quote rate bind. So to answer your question, Stephen, we're not going to be just one phase. We're going to be in all 4. The other thing is, yes, we're going to have a physical location, but my kids are all in college. So a lot of this that they're learning, they're going to do, and they're in college in 3 different states. My son's in California, my daughter's in Texas, and I got a daughter in Nebraska. They're in 3 different states. So we're still going to do a lot of virtual stuff, but we still have a physical location that we're going to have in Arlington, Texas, which is just one of our offices that we have anyway. Right.
Nice. So what's your carrier makeup look like, Billy? Who are you going with?
Oh, we've got everybody. We're probably we haven't really decided which aggregator or cluster we're going to go with yet, because I can get a lot of direct appointments simply because of, who I know.
Yeah, the relationships. Yep.
But I'm really thinking about going with Indium. I don't know if you guys
I've heard of
with Indium. And the reason why is because of Kat Turnus is now the CEO of Indium. And, a lot of folks are already involved in Indium. You got Bradley Flowers and David Carruthers and Chris Paradiso and all these guys. They're already involved in Indium, but Indium kind of went through some changes. So we're probably going to end up going with them. And again, can't commit. So if Kat's listening to this podcast, you said you were going to. No, I said one of the ones we might go with, But we probably will end up going with Indium for that, because they give us access to all the different carriers. But, Smart Choice is still in play. Renegade Insurance is still in play. You still got some other aggregator clusters that's still in play. There's only a couple that I've completely said, there's no way. I can't stay in that marriage for 20 years and then have to pay you alimony for the next 15 years when I get ready to divorce you. Mm-hmm. I'm not getting involved with you. So,
I hear you.
But
and what made you lean towards the aggregator cluster route?
Because I want my kids to have support. I want them to, while I want them to learn, I also want them to be able to have access and without a lot of restrictions. I don't want them getting told no at every turn. But I want him to have that access. My daughter, who is going to be my daughters are going to be the one heading up the personal lines. Of course, they're going to be a traditional agency, auto, home, umbrella, life, that kind of deal. So I want them to have that. But I also am doing the Medicare Advantage and the Medicare Supplement side. So I want access to those particular carriers and that particular thing as well. So, it just works out well for access.
Interesting. It's like you got 3 producers day one.
Yes. Well, plus our VAs, we already have virtual assistants, and we already have other people that have been with us a while that I'll be bringing over from other agencies that are going to be a part of our agency already. So we're going to hit the ground with 7, 8, 10 people day one.
Wow.
Yeah. So let's dive into that. So from a support staff standpoint, are you going all VAs? And then, if you can touch on your recommendations for startups. So do you suggest the VA? Do you suggest the in-person service person, or what are your thoughts on that?
I don't think a person should, if you're brand new to insurance, I don't think you should have a VA from day one. Okay, I don't. And the reason why is you need to learn what the hell you're doing. You need to do an endorsement. You need to file a claim. You need to understand submitting something to underwriting. You don't need to just go have someone. Now, you need to have someone who can help you when you start to make mistakes, which is why being a part of a cluster or group or something like that can help you. But you need to learn what your VA is supposed to do, right? So for us, we have 11, I won't go over each one, but we have 11 tasks that our VA have to be specialists at doing, starting with understanding agency standards, all the way through filling out certificates of insurance and filling out our top 5 used accord forms and all those kind of things, right? These are things I've been teaching for years. So, but a lot of agents don't know how to do that. Now you go hire a VA, you don't know how to do it. The VA is asking you to train them because these VA companies are not training them. Everyone thinks it's plug and play, and it's bullcrap. It's not plug and play. Okay? They're basically staffing agencies. That's what they basically are.
Yep.
Right. With the exception of a couple that are out there. I think I've given enough free promo for today, so I won't start naming folks, but there are a couple of them that are out there that are really good at training their people, but the majority of them, they're just a staffing agency. They'll provide you with a body, and you're the one that has to train that body. But you don't know what the hell you're doing. All right? So I'm a big believer that most scratch agencies should really, if you're a solo like what you're doing, Stephen, you need to stay solo that first 6 months and really learn the ins and outs and failures and nicks and nooks and crannies of what you're doing, and then bring on a VA. Because you'll know what to hand off. You'll know what to give them. You'll know what you don't want to do or what you're not good at doing. But a lot of agencies are starting with VAs, which means you're starting with a bill, right? That's all it is. The VA is a bill because they don't know what the hell they're doing. They don't know how to make you money. And now you're like, I tried that VA crap and it didn't work. No, you didn't try the VA crap. You just hired another body to sit there and look at you confused. That's not bringing on a VA service.
And I think that goes with everything in our industry too, right? The AMSs, the CRMs, they're only going to be as good as what you put into them. You know, you need to put in the time, obviously do your research and make sure that they work for how your agency works and different things. But if you're not putting the time into your brand new CRM, the one that, to exactly how you say that, is plug and play, if you're not putting the time to make sure that it works for you, how you operate, how your staff operates, it's going to be, you're not going to have a good relationship, and you're going to be the one saying, oh, that didn't work for me. But how much did you put into it?
Exactly. Well, not just how much did you put into it, but what did you want it to do? So when we do marketing, the whole point of marketing is to have a good call to action, right? And the call to action gets people to do what we want them to do. That's why we have a good call to action. Call me, email me, text me, scan the QR code, show up for the webinar, whatever your call to action is. Well, guess what? Most agents don't know what their call to action is on a process. So you're doing an endorsement process. What's the outcome? What is it supposed to look like? You're filing this. What is it supposed to look like? You're doing this over here. You're submitting this app. What is it supposed to look like? Well, they don't know. They don't know what their call to action is. And so they don't know how to utilize the tool. So you have a phenomenal tool, whether you're using WonderWrite, or I'll name the ones I already named, whether you're using Hawksoft or InsuredMind or WonderWrite or, whatever tool you're using. And now all of a sudden you don't know what that tool is supposed to do, what the outcome is supposed to be, because you don't have a process. So my number one thing, and Sean and I have talked this from day one, dude, you have 4 types of staff. Again, back to my numbers. You have 4 types of staff in your agency. All agencies have 4 types of staff. You have processes, humans, technology, and automation. Every agency, even you, Stephen, by yourself right now, you have processes. You have the human. You have technology, right? Your AMS system, your CRM, and you have automation. What does it automatically do for you? What does it send out for you? What does it do that you don't have to manually go in and do? Well, all that's part of a process. So if you don't know the steps of the process and where each of your staff, because that's what I call them, staff, processes, humans, technology, automation, if you don't know where each of your staff takes over, then you don't know what buttons to push. You don't know where to go next. You don't have a clue what to do because you don't have a process. So the strength of Inspire Nation, the reason why Sean picked me in the beginning to mentor him was because all I talk about are processes. You got to have a process for everything. I'm a Christian. So let me break this down for my other Christian folks out here. God made the heaven and earth, right? Everything, water, fish, sea, whatever. The last animals God created was man and woman, right? He didn't create them. He didn't hire them and say, hey, come help me build this. You take over the mountain, you take over the sky, you take over the fish, and I tell you what, I'll go. No, he built everything. The process was laid already. And then he said, now I need you to come in and help me manage the process. See, that's what a lot of agencies are not doing. They're hiring people hoping that those people help them build processes. And if that's what you're hiring them for, and that person knows that's what you're hiring them for, fine. Like if I'm hiring a really advanced commercial producer, I expect that commercial producer to bring in processes that they've used over the last 15 years and help me build those processes in my agency. But you can't hire Judy, who got her license 2 months ago, who was working at Enterprise Car Rental 3 months ago, and now you're hiring her and expecting her to come in and build processes in your agency.
Right.
Doesn't work that way. You got to have your processes first, and then you bring your people, your technology, and your automation into your processes.
Couldn't agree more.
Okay. So going on to the new agency, what's the 3, 5, 10-year goal? What's the big picture of the family agency?
Yeah, so this is going to be part of our legacy. You know, I'm already a part owner of quite a few agencies, but this will be our family actually running this, operating this, doing this. So my plan for the PNC side, commercial side, is to just let that go. That should be my kids, grandkids, great-grandkids. I mean, we just really want to build that and keep it going, right? The Medicare supplement side, I've got about a 5-year window. That's the way I look at it, because right now there's like 17,000, depending on who you talk to, somewhere between 12 and 17,000 people that are turning 65 every day, right, or something like that. So I figure in about 5 to 6 years, that baby boom is going to pretty much die out. And by then the government would have changed everything. So for the Medicare side, I'm really looking at about a 5-year horizon to where everything will work out.
Billy, I got one last thing for you. Was it a tough sell to your kids to get them involved in the business?
Oh, good question.
I didn't sell a thing. They approached me.
Seriously. Oh, okay.
I never.
And why do you think that is?
Because they're getting old enough to where they realize daddy's not going to pay all their bills. I mean, if you want the truth, I'm just telling you the truth. Yeah. They're getting to that age where they're like, okay, dad's not going to keep paying all our bills. And, you know, my son is, like I said, he's a mathematics, economics major. He's already got a phenomenal job offer. So for him, this is really a part-time backup just to kind of make sure, you know. My daughters, on the other hand, I think for them, this is more, I want to build that legacy wealth. Mm-hmm. My middle daughter, she saw someone's like at UTA. There's like this statue in the middle of UTA campus, and that statue has a family name and all that stuff. And I think for her, she's like, you know, I want my family to have legacy wealth where we're able to do things like this and we're able to give that way. And then she reads a lot of biops and things like that about, you know, the Rothschilds and, you know, the JP Morgan Chases and, you know, all these really, really rich families. And I think for her, that's something that she wants. She wants that legacy wealth. My youngest daughter, I just think she's like, you know what? I want as much money as I can without working that hard for it. So insurance seems like a good way of doing it. So.
Yeah, well, you know how it is.
Wrong. Now, of course, they're going to hear this podcast. They're going to tell me I'm lying. You're wrong, Dad. I can't believe you said that, but we know the deal.
You know how it is, Billy. I feel like your values change as you age. You know what I mean? Not that I'm some old man with all this wisdom, but I'm just saying from 18 to where I am now at 34 and next month, I would say every year, your values change slightly, you know?
Oh, yeah.
So,
especially as
I think that's completely normal.
This adulting thing is not fun. I don't know who the hell invented this thing.
Where's the but that's what I want to know.
This adulting thing is not fun at all. You know, and somehow
hardest thing I ever did.
Like I saw this lady on YouTube. She was like, "Look, my customer service rep signed me up for the Extreme Diamond package of adulting." You know, she said, all I wanted to do was go to bed at 9 o'clock. That's all I wanted to do. I didn't want to pay bills. I didn't want responsibility. She goes, I'll go to bed early. You know, you can take all this crap away from me. So I think that's what happens. I think the adulting thing takes over.
Hey, we could do a whole nother podcast on how to start a scratch agency while raising a newborn. So I would do that one.
There you go.
But at the end of the day, let me end with this, guys. Because we shared so much with them, and I don't want to confuse people.
Yeah.
Number one, it starts with communication, because that's what we're in. We're in the communication business. So you need to go back and start looking at your email templates, looking at your text message templates, looking at your forms, looking at your documents. How are you communicating with your carriers? How are you communicating with your partners? How are you communicating with your staff? How are you communicating with your customers, right? And make sure that those templates are all good. And now you don't need Slack and Teams, and you got to have this, and you got to have 37 modes of communication, and it's got to go to 17 different channels. And dude, but whatever you're saying, can you pick up the phone and have a succinct conversation? That's most important. If I send you something, is this. So start with communication. After you've got your communication, start looking at your processes, right? Because there are only 23 core processes in an insurance agency. I don't care how advanced that insurance agency is. There are 23 core processes. If you get those 23 core processes right, you'll start to grow. And Sean and I have been working on, everything from email templates to making sure there's new
agency
customer
standards.
processes right, and making sure his lead flow is right. I mean, those core processes. So that's it. I'm telling you, start simple. Start with your email communication templates and your text message templates. How you're communicating with your carriers, how you're communicating with your partners, how you're communicating with your staff, and how you're communicating with your customers. If you start with that, everything else it's easier to build from there.
Awesome. Well, that is a great conversation. I know I'll be going back and replaying this one over and over. But Billy, thank you very much for joining us. For those that want to learn more information about the mentoring program or just follow you, or what's the best way to get in touch and follow what you're doing?
I'm a LinkedIn guy, so LinkedIn is probably my best. Of course, I'm on Facebook and Instagram and all that other stuff. But if you really want to keep up with what I'm doing personally, like with the agency and the growth, which I'm gonna make sure that I'm keeping that out there. Hey, here's what we signed. Here's what we did. Then probably LinkedIn is going to be our best bet. And Facebook, we have a Facebook group. It's called Fix My Insurance Agency. It says, the original Billy Williams Group or whatever the hell it is. But it's Fix My Insurance Agency. That's on LinkedIn and on Facebook. For the mentoring arm, go out to inspireanation.org. Inspireanation.org. And the name of my agency is Inspire a Nation Insurance Agency. We're going to keep that branding all the way through everything that we do.
I like it.
So
awesome.
I like that.
That's fantastic. All right, everybody. Well, that's another episode of the Scratch Agency Podcast. Thank you for joining us. Do us a favor, like the show, share the show, and subscribe. Most importantly, remember to dig down deep, believe in yourself, and own your own future. We'll see you next week. Take care.